SA Blue Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Firth, founding Field Advisory Board member and Crown with Neumi. It's almost my pleasure every week to do some amazing interviews on this particular time slot. With that in mind, we're just getting ready for the event to start. And of course, some people will be logging in late. So as that happens, I just wanted to announce the winner from last week. So Yana Lavana or La Lenova. Yana from New Zealand, you are the lucky winner. You have won a free bottle of our product. So if you can reach out to Everything Neumi Worldwide, you are the winner from last week that we have just picked. Now, I know it takes a few minutes for people to get in here, so I'm going to put on a little timer, but I have a special offer. Whatever you do, do not miss today's announcement for the special offer starting in a minute. In the meantime, type in exactly where you're watching us from in the chat. Love to see as we get the scope right around the world, 74 different countries. Type where you're watching us from in the chat. Alrighty, welcome online, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Firth, founding Field Advisory Board member and Crown with Neumi, and every single week at this time slot, exactly the same time slot, and exactly the same day. I love doing some live streams and interviewing people from around the world. We have people joining us from absolutely everywhere. You can see on the screen right now, New Zealand, Perth, Western Australia, Melbourne, Jamaica. What else we got further up the chat? I think we have Trinidad and Tobago. We got people logging in from absolutely everywhere, which is fantastic. Having said that, if you would like to go in the draw for a free bottle of product, type in "pick me please" in the chat anytime between now and the next week when you're watching the replay, and you could be the lucky winner. If you didn't see the start of the event, Yana in New Zealand, you have won a bottle of product. Please reach out to our page and we'll send it off to you. We are live streaming into 74 different countries. So type in where you're watching us from as we go through the event. I'm sure we'll pop them up from time to time. I've got a special announcement today. Before I get into these amazing interviews you're going to hear about, the special announcement is it is Blue Friday. What does that mean? Well, right now, if you've never tried our products before, whoever sent you this interview, once you've heard a little bit about it in a minute, if you want to get access to them, well, right now for the next few days, you will be able to qualify between November the 25th and December the 2nd. If you buy our products with the Blue Friday special, you buy two, you get a third one for free, which is a great way to try absolutely everything. So if you're watching this right now wondering, well, that's great, what's Neumi? Let me just quickly go through who Neumi are. We are the trailblazers. We are the innovators. We are dedicated revolutionizing health and wellness through a cutting-edge technology called Hydrostat Molecular Encapsulation System. If you don't know what that is, we've solved a huge problem, and the problem is poor absorption rates. Studies show that 90% of oral supplements go flush down the toilet and they don't get to where they need to be. Having said that, if we go back on this one, well, we can go one more step and say what we've done. We have solved this. We've got all of our nutrients absorbing using this unique process called Hydrostat. So what is that? It's a way of us shrinking the particle size down like no one's ever done before and delivering them with an ultra purified water molecule. So there are three things, just so I'm clear, that make us unique, and no one has anything remotely like it. So cell size on the left-hand side, we are down under 10 nanometers. You know, a lot of products like liposomals and things like that, they might get down to 200 nanometers. I think the best of the best I saw was about 60 nanometers. But unfortunately, you need to be under 20 or 30 nanometers to penetrate the blood-brain barrier, and they are not. Of course, in our case, we can access the cells like no other product. Second one, surface area. Because of our process of Hydrostat, we have 200 times greater contact with a cell, which is why we get much better cell utilization of our product. And finally, Hydrostat, we use the word hydra, meaning water, ultra purified water molecules, purer than a hospital IV, to deliver our amazing products, which means we have three things 3 things that make these totally unique and no one else has anything remotely like it. So I'm going to go through some interviews today, and the individuals I'm going to interview range all the way from the top of our compensation planners crowns who picked Neumi, and you wonder why they picked Neumi over every other country and company. And then if you go down right through all the ranks, you're going to hear some spectacular interviews from various different people. So get a pen out, have a listen to why Neumi for these individuals. Okay, so first up, I'd love you to meet a great friend of mine, Karen Justice. Now, Karen joined Neumi, and after that, I needed a neck brace because she had formed a new land speed record of how fast someone could become a crown, which was about 5.5, 6 months, just crazy. And she has a lot of experience, been about 30 plus years in this industry. So for Karen to pick Neumi is interesting for you to hear why a big leader with experience would do that. Now, Karen, I understand the first thing you mentioned to me was that we were well funded. Tell us about that.
Yes, that's the first thing that I look at, because most companies fail when they hit their growth curve. They just don't have the funds necessary to fund exponential growth. And what I saw that this company, because of Steve Scott, Steve's history in infomercials with billions of dollars in sales, and also Aaron Renner, his background in international finance, having led another very successful networking company. All of those things combined with, when I pulled the string, Steve's integrity, his incredible integrity. I mean, he's written 14 best-selling Christian books, but he's somebody who really walks his talk. I really think he's a wonderful person.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this next question, pretty much everyone on the interviews has got the same opinion, so I think that'll help hold a lot of weight with everybody. But you mentioned it's really important to have a unique product. What do you mean by that?
Well, you have to have something that people find valuable, because you need reorders. A lot of times people will join a weight loss company or something because they think, oh, everybody needs to lose weight. But you don't get reorders for very long with a weight loss company. You want a product that really makes a difference for people, something that the company has exclusively. We have the brand new Hydra Stat technology, because you want people to absolutely love what you sell. I looked at the success stories. I saw the before and afters. People looked years younger. And, I myself started taking it, and I looked like I had a facelift very quickly. And so, I had this stealth energy. So it's really key that your product is unique.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I was saying to someone the other day, the biggest problem we have is not do we get enough results? It's getting controlling expansion around the globe. It's going so fast. So speaking of expansion, and you mentioned on weight loss, for example, and there's a thing out there called the S curve in the industry where companies are at, and of course some go and then disappear, others stand the test of time. Where do you feel like we are on that S curve now?
Well, I feel like if people don't understand the S curve, it's basically the first part is formulation, and that's where a company starts out into the marketplace. They're trying to get a client base, and things go wrong with computers, all kinds of things happen. It's like the Wild West. But as a company goes through that, they start to move into the concentration phase, and that's where you want to join, because it can be like having a tiger by the tail, because the next phase is going to be momentum. So big builders try to look for a company that hasn't gone through its concentration phase yet, or is just starting into its concentration phase, which we are, because that momentum, a person can 10 times their income, very, very quickly. So it's exciting to be in a company that has that growth potential. The fourth stage after a company's hit momentum is stability. And while the opportunity is still good, it's much harder to come in and build a huge organization at that point, that's how your older companies are. So you want to look for a company that's still fresh and just moving into that concentration phase.
Totally agree with that. And it's interesting when you're talking about that. Someone the other day said, "How many countries you're opened in? How many people know about it?" Well, 74 countries, about 200,000 members, but the population of those 74 countries is about 2 point something billion, and no one's heard the word Neumi yet. So we're right on the cutting edge. And with that in mind, as you expand internationally, legal is very important as well. Tell us about that.
Yes, that's one of the things I check. It's one of the most important things. If I see a company making wild claims, I don't go anywhere near it. You see these companies, they have these videos out there on the internet and they're saying this and that. And I just think, well, they're not going to be saying it long. So I always make sure that a company has a good compliance department, and that helps them be, and good legal advice, and that helps them be around for a long time.
Right. And support. This is another factor. I mean, I've been with the company like you have from early days and seeing us going kaboom into different markets, but you need support and tools to back that up as well.
Yes, and you've been responsible for helping create a lot of that, Michael. But I love the support that the company has. I mean, we're really a family. That's not just a cliche. We really are a family in Neumi. We've got wonderful marketing materials. I love the 2.5 minute video. Everybody says yes. They will watch it. We've got great Facebook pages. We've got live calls. We've got all kinds of video replays. We've got an app, and when you have all of these tools, it's easy to get people moving in the same direction. And that's the type of thing you have to have, that, the thing that leads to momentum, and you get a company culture. And I love our online meetings. There's no hype. They're very professional, because this business is all about building connections. And when the tools are there, it helps you do that in a hurry.
Beautiful. It's interesting. When I asked Karen about, what are your top, say, half a dozen reasons, she put number 6 as comp plan. Now, I love that because some people are out there going, "Tell me how much you're going to pay me first," and they have a gimmicky product or some rubbish, backing it up. But here we have, first and foremost, real science. And a lot of the things you may not have considered are in those first 5 questions. But now, tell us, what about compensation?
Yes, well, the reason I put it a little later is if you have a great product that people are going to reorder, just about any compensation plan will actually work. We have the best compensation plan I've ever seen. I was so grateful it wasn't a binary. I love unilevel plans. A binary, I feel if somebody gets on an inside leg, it really hurts the little guy. I feel that they're plans that are very unfair. Our compensation plan is a unilevel. It's very fair. Everybody has an equal chance. It's easy to understand. It's got the highest payout I've ever seen, and it's all based on honesty. It's an honest dollar. You're bonused on an honest dollar. You hardly ever see that in the industry anymore, and so it's really an equal opportunity compensation plan, and it's service driven because you rise by lifting others.
Love it. And I'm the same opinion about binaries. I saw a previous upline bribed by a company to come in, and they gave him one built-out leg, didn't tell anybody else on the team, said, "You just got to build the other leg, you're a diamond," which is truly a cubic zirconia because it's man-made, it's fake, and a little bit of fraud in some people's opinion, and not real. So I like we stayed away from binaries and made it a fair comp plan as well. Well, thank you for sharing, Karen. I'm sure a lot of people will get a lot. All right. So next up, I love the background of Karen. Karen has way more experience than I do in the industry, and for her to say she picked Neumi is amazing. Now, this gentleman here on the screen can't speak English very clearly, so we decided we would table him anyway. There's a brand new diamond with diamonds in his team in Indonesia, and this is Jonathan. Now, Jonathan had been a crown in the industry before, so why would he pick Neumi? Well, he's told me 3 things to tell you. Firstly, number 1, Neumi's owner, Steve Scott, is very humble, which is something he's never experienced in the industry before, is having a humble founder. That's big. Number 2, products with hydrostat technology. He said no one has anything remotely as effective, and having a unique product stands the test of time. And number 3, compensation plan. He said it's very profitable for members because they have the calculation of $1 equals a point. We pay 53 cents of the dollar. No one else is doing that. Everybody else is way less when you look at that. So we've moved from America with a crown in under 5.5 months. Jonathan, been a crown in the past with lots of experience. We're now going to move over to another part of the world with a different language as well. Have a listen. All right, so next up, we're going to interview Ronan Brown. Ronan's a great friend of mine who is leading the charge in the Hebrew market right around the world. There is people who speak Hebrew, obviously, in Israel, but even when I grew up in Melbourne, right around the world, Ronan is leading the charge. So Ronan, what's the top 2 reasons, do you think, what's the first one anyway, why Neumi for you? As a double diamond, who achieved that quite quickly, I might add, what would be your number 1 reason?
Number 1 reason is the breakthrough, the hydrostat technology, which allow me to do my mission much better, which is to bring the natural health, the holistic health way of living to the world.
Beautiful.
Number 2 is the fantastic product that are based on this breakthrough, the hydrostat. And if I may, number 3 is the companies, the ownership, is the leadership, and the compensation plan that can allow me more freedom to do what I love most, which is to bring this to the world.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Isn't it interesting when we listen to all of these different interviews that they all come up with the similar stuff? The product, no one has anything like it. The compensation plan, no one can compete. And of course, the integrity of the... Okay, so next up, I want to introduce you to a beautiful friend of mine who became my dance coach, Latin American dance coach on our Diamond Retreat, and that is Juanita. Now, the beautiful Juanita is actually from Chicago, but she is also the reason that Neumi in Mexico started. She was like the pioneer that kicked it off with hundreds and hundreds of doctors that jumped on board with Neumi. So firstly, please welcome Juanita.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to be here with you, Michael.
Beautiful.
And great to see you again.
Can't wait for our next dance lesson. Now, and by the way, guys, I'm a difficult person to teach how to dance. I'm going to say that. So I just want to ask you top 3 reasons. And you mentioned to me beforehand that one of the main reasons for you being a naturopath was the fact that we had an innovative product. What do you mean?
Well, by an innovative product, I had never been in a company that has a hydrostat molecular encapsulation technology. That was huge for me. And so trying the product and being impressed, I always look for something very new and an innovative product for my clients, especially for myself and my friends. So that was huge. And trying the product and having that type of results where you can get that instant absorption in your body, that's huge. And it has totally changed the health of many, many of my clients and myself. So I am truly happy that I've made that choice, Michael, to try the Neumi products. And now that we have 4, that is awesome. I'm more excited every day about our innovative products.
Beautiful. You know, it's funny you say that actually, because I've seen recently some people join what I would call fad companies where they come in with a product. It's like, wow, this is this huge, amazing idea, but it's a commodity, a product that eventually gets commoditized. And then what do? Leave that network marketing company, go to the next one. And they're always looking for a new home. Whereas when you have something totally unique that no one else has, you've got it for the long haul. Now, you mentioned also something about being global. What did you mean by that?
Well, I owned a wellness center for 30 years. And after 30 years, I was exhausted. I was stressed out and said, I am ready to close the doors, sell the building, and go home and have a global online business. And so when my sponsor tells me that we are opening up Mexico, I was like so excited. And Latin America, and now 74 countries later, I have people all over the world, and I could be home having a global online business. And when I share it with others, people always say, tell me more. And what a blessing, where 2 days ago, we had snow in Chicago, blizzard, and here I am on a Zoom, recording a very good video across Latin America, and that is huge. You could have your online business from home and just sponsor people around the world. That is huge. I love it. I didn't know what I was going to sell, but when Neumi came along, this was bigger than what I even envisioned, and I love it.
That's awesome. And I can reiterate that. I mean, using COVID pushed us into a world of online like this. And then we came out with a free app that does things most companies can't possibly do with their apps and gives us an opportunity, even translation apps. From my perspective, I don't speak half the languages our business is in, but there's leaders in teams all around the world, including yourself, speaking Spanish, which is fantastic. So you mentioned also a big thing for you was integrity. And I know for me, that was critical with partnering with Neumi. Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, first of all, I met Alex, which is our upline crown, and seeing his integrity was huge. But then when I met Steve, our founder, Stephen Scott, the integrity, the big heart, and he's not out to just say, okay, you need all these tools and charge you for everything. It's like he has a big heart, and what he wants more than anything for all of us is success. And so when he gives us everything on a silver platter, it makes it so simple. That is huge. To have a company that has all three things, Michael, that was very important to me, because I've been in network marketing for over 30 years. And to finally find a company that has the big three that I was looking for, that's huge. And I am very grateful. And thank you, Michael, for being a wonderful upline crown.
No, thank you. Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say. And I truly believe that culture and integrity starts from the top down. So having Steve as the rock and the anchor for that integrity just trickled into the rest of the leaders into the business as servant leaders. And I can attest, Juanita is definitely one of those. So thank you for sharing. Alrighty, so now what I love to do, go to another part of the world. Just recently, we opened up Greece, and literally 6 weeks later, kaboom, Andreas, that you can see on the screen there, was able to crack the diamond rank in 6 weeks. Now, people experience coming to our company saying, this is the number one company. So let me share with you, because he also, like Jonathan, speaking Indonesian, Andreas can't speak English, so he left this message with me. So the top 3 reasons: after 30 years experience in network marketing, it became clear to me that I could no longer collaborate with a company that offers a multitude of products. Interesting, right? A company that truly knows its products deliver results doesn't need to have that many. I wanted a company with strong identity that stands out. Interesting, someone with experience would say that. Second one, what I was looking for and what mattered immensely to me was the technology behind the products, and a factor that differentiates them from everything else in the market globally, and that's what we do. I wanted something unique, so powerful in terms of results that no other company could replace it. And I can remember when we shipped over some sample products before we kicked off, the feedback we were getting from him and his team, and George, who's been instrumental as well in kicking off, has been amazing. Finally, he said, I always value the quality of people behind the company, and this is where the company's compensation plan came into play, and a compensation plan that reflects the personality of its founders, paying the right people. And I've never seen a more compensation plan anywhere else in the world. Let's jump to another part of the world and hear from another leader somewhere else.
Yes.
Okay, next up, I'd love to introduce you to James Lewis. Now, James was actually one of the very first founding members of the company, and his team, within about a couple of days after launching Neumi, had already cracked through the first diamond level, had a lot of momentum kicking off. So, James, what would be the top 3 reasons for you? I think you mentioned product being unique. Tell us about that.
Product technology. Yes, I was sold on glutathione technology, and I was taking a product that was very, very good, and I would have taken it probably the rest of my life until I found something much better. I felt like a more efficient delivery, and I got immediate results, improved results from it.
Perfect. And so you said that leads itself into opportunity with Hydrostat. What do you mean?
Well, number one, I feel like the raw material aspect of this is protected with the technology. We can make so much product out of so little raw material That is the essence of the breakthrough of the hydrostat. So between that opportunity presented itself with hydrostat and the business model that's also, I know there's more people out there like me that need to be rescued by improving their health. So just to be able to share the opportunity or share the technology and the product with others.
Beautiful. And for those that don't know, let me give you more clarity on what James just mentioned. So if you don't know, if you took a kilogram of ingredient with traditional capsules, you probably make 200 to 400 bottles, and you've got to work out your profitability accordingly. Most of it goes down the toilet. We can actually take the same amount of ingredient and turn that into about 10,000 bottles, and our profitability is through the roof, puts us in a unique position. So with that in mind, you also mentioned relationships. Tell us what you meant by that.
Well, just the relationships that are built, long-term relationships, the opportunity to reconnect with Steve and with you and with others that I've worked with in the past. I value those relationships because they were rich and they were built on solid ground. And so anytime you can do that and then add to it and build on it, I thrive on the relationships, because that's the greatest value of what we're sharing, right? Is building those long-term relationships that can be rewarding. Perfect. I guess is the easiest way to put it.
Totally agree. And we get to choose who we work with in this business versus, having a co-worker at work that you just can't stand. So great opportunity. Thanks for sharing, James. Okay, so next up, we're going to be interviewing Christy Price. Now, Christy is pioneering something for us where she's not just using the product as a human being, but she's involved in some trials with some horses, believe it or not. So I know the first thing that you said to us, Christy, that really impressed you about Neumi, that set us apart, was really about product. What do you mean?
By that, I just mean for me personally, I have tried every product on the face of the earth, and this product getting into your cells within 70 seconds has just been miraculous for me and for my horses.
Fantastic. Now, lots of news coming with horses in the future, but nothing right now, zip. Right. When it comes to a compensation plan, that was another thing a lot of people talk about, and you mentioned us paying a lot more. What do you mean by that?
Well, based on the other ones, I've been in a few network marketing companies in the last few years, and ours pays 53% versus say like the 40% that is the average. So for me, just seeing how happy all of my members are and being able to pay out as much as we can just is a huge game changer.
Beautiful. In fact, if you look at it, some of them on Business for Home are showing as low as 22 and 23 cents in a dollar. And it's only when you work out those PV-BV ratios, you realize that a lot of companies are perceived to be paying a lot more than they really are. Now, another big thing you mentioned was the Neumi culture, in the family field. Tell us about that.
Well, working together just at the events, everybody is able to do all the trainings, which we provide. It just seems more like a family. Everybody's willing to help everyone. So it's a really nice kind of culture to be in.
Absolutely. Okay, so lastly, we're going to be interviewing an emerging leader, which is Christine Francois. I hope I said that right. I always say to my French friends that you could say, let's take out the garbage, and it sounds romantic. So I hope I pronounced that right. So Christine is actually in an emerging market. And one of the things I love about Neumi is the fact that we're so aggressively going around the world, and we're now in 74 different countries. So I've never even been to Trinidad and Tobago, if that's the right way to say it, but I'm going to introduce you to Christine. And Christine, tell us, what would be the first reason for you? You said something about trust.
Absolutely, Michael, and thanks for having me on this evening. Trust is really very important to me because, just over a year ago, my friend, business partner, and former Wall Street banker, Carl Thompson, picked up the phone and he called me, said, Chris, I have a 2.5-minute video for you. Take a look at it and get right back to me. So I didn't need any more encouragement. I absolutely took a very quick look at it. And I saw that it was perfect because I was looking. I was looking for the wellness. I was looking for the income. And so the trust factor of having him reach out to me, that was very potent.
It's funny you say that, because I say to people, when you're growing your business, always start with people who know you, like you, trust you. And that's, of course, the low-hanging fruit that you tend to get straight in the door with that. Now, you also mentioned about the products and it being unique. Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, The fact is that so often people would say, I need to try the product myself before I decide on a business. For me, that really wasn't the case because, Neumi has fabulous platforms where you can literally read the product experiences of people from around the world. So I did a deep dive into Neumi's New You Facebook page, and I found more than 9,000 people who were having stories that really resonated with me. And so I didn't need much more encouragement. I said to Carl, listen, I need to get this product.
Isn't it funny? So there's a lot of products on the market that are gimmicky and, people sell them. They might be cheap, they might be a fad, but do they work? Whereas here, you're spot on. Absolutely, our products really work. Now, every single person that's spoken today pretty much has mentioned about the commission with our program. So what's your perspective on that?
Well, for me, again, Michael, I was looking, remember I shared this with you earlier. I was looking to make more money. I'm a single mom, retiree, and I needed to make more money. So when I saw that Neumi had a 53% payout, that was very compelling because imagine I'd done this in the industry several times before, and I'd never seen a 53% payout. So for me, the money works, and I've been working diligently to create that level of excitement, just not for me alone, but for my team.
Isn't it funny? A lot of companies talk about they pay 50% of commissions, but they usually mean 50% of the BV, which, as we know, works out to maybe 20-something percent, maybe 30-something percent, but definitely not 53. So that's great. And the final thing you mentioned too is leadership. What do you mean by that?
Oh gosh, Michael, when I first got here, I was so impressed with the leadership of Stephen K. Scott, our founder, Aaron Renard, our president, and all of Neumi Corporate. And then I met my crown, Karen Justice, who has just loved on us so much, provided so many opportunities for us to flourish, to grow, to win. And then, it didn't matter how far into the team it was. And then we met you, Michael, and you have just been so gracious to us and providing opportunities as well. So the leadership, it's a field-driven organization, second to none. And I'm absolutely glad that I made the decision to come here.
And we are glad that you chose to partner with us as well. So thank you for sharing. Alrighty, so there you have it. About 8 different interviews from around the world with different rank sizes, you name it, the works. If you're watching this for the very first time, I'd encourage you to get back to the person who sent it to you. If you're watching it right now, as I said, we have a Blue Friday sale on, so there's never been a better time to dip your toe in the water and give it a try. You will never get a better deal like this. And so that will be going from November the 25th, 2024 to December the 2nd. Encourage you to take advantage of any of that. And remember, as you watch this until next week, anytime in the replay on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the places we're live streaming right now, if you type in "pick me please" in the chat, you may be the lucky winner at exactly this time next week on the next event. So I want to thank all of our people for being interviewed today, and I look forward to seeing you same place, exactly